Hello, everyone. And today is Monday, June the 8th, 2026, and you have joined Ask a Care Navigator, Mondays with Maureen. Hello, everyone. My name is Maureen Williams, and I'm the Director of Care Navigation here at Four Seasons, the Care You Trust. And we try to create this space on most Mondays to talk about issues associated with living well and aging well, and perhaps how Four Seasons may be of service. If you have any questions or comments while you're viewing this recording, please drop them into the comments box from whichever platform you're viewing, either Facebook or YouTube, or you can call us. And our phone number is 866 466 9734, or please go to our website. There's a ton of information there, and that is fourseasonscare.org. Please spell out the number 4, fourseasonscare.org. And I'm delighted and grateful to share that we are so thankful for the Van Winkle Law Firm serving as the title sponsor of this program, Ask a Care Navigator, Mondays with Maureen. We are so grateful for that. The Van Winkle Law Firm is one of the most respected and well-established law firms in North Carolina, providing exceptional representation to individuals, businesses, and families in personal, commercial, business, and estate planning matters. And I particularly interface on the latter topic. Should you want more information or to schedule a consultation, please go to the website, which is www.vwlawfirm.com, and someone will be happy to assist you. And again, I'm so very grateful. Well, last week I talked a bit about an emotion, a very prominent emotion and feeling and clinical diagnosis actually called depression. And that stimulated some conversation from some people. I'm grateful to hear that information was helpful. And so I thought I'd dig into another emotion that I do run across with some regularity and have done so lately, and that is dealing with anger. In particular, the anger of your parents or the elders whom you're trying to serve and help, be they family members or otherwise. So dealing with anger. This is not an isolated thing. You may think you're the only one dealing with this, but you're not. In fact, have you ever said these words? They are driving me crazy. Or heard someone share that? It's uttered or screamed by family members who are acting as caregivers so many times, trying to care for their elderly loved ones. Caregivers often deal with unusual, unruly, and even embarrassing behaviors from their loved ones, from their care recipients. So what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do about that? Well, let's dial it back a little bit. Age and sometimes illness can intensify long-standing personality traits in some unpleasant ways. For example, an irritable person may frequently become enraged, or an impatient person may become more demanding and impossible to please. Is that ringing any bells? Unfortunately, an angry elder's main target is often their loved one or their caregiver. Have you seen that? Well, it's important to try to identify the root cause of the anger if you can. Sometimes aging and being ill, those don't go together very well. There may be resentment in your loved one about living with chronic pain, or losing friends, or experiencing memory issues, and all the other undignified things that come with living with serious or chronic illness. It's unfortunate. Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia can also cause these kinds of personality behaviors and anger issues. I've seen that many times, particularly when people who know they are living with a dementia or Alzheimer's. Such anger and rage at the disease. I get it, sort of, but it's hard to deal with. I need you to remember these things. This is the most important thing I want you to hear today. These people don't have full control over their words or actions, particularly those living with dementia. They just don't have full control. And the most important thing you can do, actually, this is the most important thing, is do not take it personally. Don't take it personally. I've had caregivers, those who were paid to do that, take care of others living with dementia, come and tell me that this person was doing this on purpose and how angry they were at him or her. And it's not personal. It's not personal. In these circumstances, focus on the positive. Try to ignore the negative behaviors or verbiage. And sometimes you just have to take caregiving from a break from caregiving. And as often as you can by finding respite care. And there are respite care resources out there. Even if it's just going outside to get some fresh air, do something you love, or calling a friend to vent. Sometimes you just need a break. Sometimes our aging elders reserve their worst behavior for those they love, for those they're closest to, like their family members. You might find yourself needing to hire in-home care and support, or even consider adult daycare to have time away from that level of anger. And people who are demonstrating this kind of anger frequently will keep it together in front of strangers or others, but not their caregiver, not their loved ones. Very interesting. So, if we bring it back a little closer, bring it in a little closer to home, do you have an angry parent? Is one of your parents really angry all the time? And there are many reasons for this, as I've mentioned, and they might include things like loss of independence, loss of control, loss of the lifestyle we once knew. There are lots of reasons for this. This change in behavior of anger may be new for your parent or parents, or it may be a lifelong pattern of behavior, and that pattern is escalating right now. And that makes it really hard. Dealing with your parents' anger also complicates what is possibly already a very stressful challenge of providing support and care to them. So what do? Let's talk about what you don't do. First of all, don't try to reason with an angry person in these circumstances. Anybody, by the way, but particularly if you're trying to be a caregiver and support to your parents. Don't reason with them during these angry episodes. It can be very counterproductive, very self-defeating. Here's what you can do. Active listening. Active listening may help. I'm not going to say it will help. It may help. And what this means is that you listen and you respond in such a way that it tells your parents that they have been heard. For example, this is a great example. I got it from someone else. If you cook a meal for your parents using your mother's exact recipe, and she angrily responds or reports to you, everything you cook for me tastes the same. Why can't you give me what I want? Wow, boy, that hurts, doesn't it? You've used your mom's exact recipe. Let me tell you, don't do this. Don't defend yourself. Don't explain that it was her recipe. Don't do it. Let her vent. And after you've actively listened, you're going to respond to her in a way that shares that she's been heard. And it might sound like this. It sounds to me that you are disappointed with the meal and that everything tastes the same to you. You see how you just are reflecting back what you heard from her? This can really help diffuse a volatile situation. With active listening, you simply reflect back what you just heard and not your interpretation of what you just heard. This is a very powerful technique. I remember going into the room of a client who lived in assisted living, and she was living with a form of dementia called Lewy body dementia. And I noticed her purse was sitting on the stool, and it was loaded with candy bars. And I just harmlessly said, "Hey, I see you got a lot of candy bars." Oh, she was furious that these children were coming in and putting all these candy bars in her purse. And she didn't understand why they were doing this when she wasn't in her room and how violated she felt. She was really upset. She had imagined this, of course. So I listened for a bit. And then I said, "So you think someone came in and put these candy bars in your purse?" I kind of said it matter-of-factly like that. And she paused for some seconds. And she quietly said, "So do you think I put those candy bars in my purse?" And I said, "Yes, I think you did." The situation was diffused. It just went away. It can work. Try it, y'all. Try it. And if you do need to give advice to your aging parents, Sometimes an anecdotal story or bit of information is far more effective than you coming straight out and telling them what to do. You all probably know that is true. Rather than give your direct opinion, tell a story or give an anecdote such as, you know what, Dad, I have a friend who's having the same trouble with his wife as you're having with Mom, getting her into the shower, and he does this to help. Those anecdotes sometimes are way more acceptable and received by an aging parent than by you coming straight on. And this is kind of a non threatening way. It's just giving an example that might help. It might not, but it might. And perhaps your parent has never been angry before. I mean, I'm really zooming in on you right now. Perhaps your parent's never been angry before, and this is new. This is scary. Then something has changed that warrants attention. I can't emphasize that enough. If your kind, tender, sweet parent is suddenly very angry, something has changed that warrants attention. Perhaps your parent is anxious for the future or depressed about the current circumstances. Either way, you really need to see a doctor. It's vitally important to properly diagnose and treat this, whatever is going on. It may be very treatable. So if the anger of your parent is new, get him or her in to see the doctor. And some other advice is avoid impossible to win arguments. If it's impossible to win, avoid it. Don't engage it. Avoid rationalizations in really angry or irate situations. Wait for a calm moment. Wait for things to calm down. Avoid being judgmental. It's so hard, especially from someone you love. Use that active listening technique I shared earlier. It's so helpful in lots of circumstances. And if necessary, you may have to limit your visits and your conversations. And I know people who do that with their parents because their parents are so angry. There's lots of pathology there, which can't be fixed. So sometimes they just limit the conversations or the visits. And if you become the regular target of your parents' anger, then it's time to have a family meeting and divide up the tasks. I think that's good self-care because you deserve respect too, particularly if your parent is not suffering from cognitive impairment. You just, this is different. This is different. So, have you ever just wanted to scream, "They're driving me crazy. My mom's driving me crazy. My grandfather's driving me crazy. My spouse is driving me crazy"? And if it's because of your loved one demonstrating lots of anger, there is help out there. You may need a counselor. You may need these respite situations. You may need to get your loved one into adult care. You may need to limit your time in conversations. You may need a support group. You may need that counselor again. There is help out there for you. I know right here locally in Western North Carolina through our area agency on aging that is called the Land of Sky Regional Council, there's a family caregiver support program. There really is a good bit of resources out there for you. All right. I know this was tender and touchy perhaps for some, but hopefully you got a little taste or an idea or maybe some courage to do something about what you might be living through with a loved one who's demonstrating lots of anger. There is help out there. Don't do this alone. Please, there is help out there. And if you have any questions about how Four Seasons may help you in this capacity, give us a call, 866-466-9734, or go to our webpage, which is fourseasonscare.org. Please spell out the number 4, FOURSEASONSCARE.org. We'll be happy to respond to your query. Okay, thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday when we talk about another issue associated with living well and aging well, and perhaps how Four Seasons may help. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you.